Hey there, it's Michael. Welcome to Whole Again, the show that's here in support of you creating a meaningful life and the person you're becoming. And I'm excited to share a new series with you that will air this summer as America turns 250 years old, which is still pretty young relative to many other countries across this big blue marble that we all share. The series is called A Perfectly Imperfect Union. In 2022, I rode my bike across America, from Astoria, Oregon to the Lincoln Memorial. My wife drove our RV, and she had two co-pilots, Jester and Hope, two Springer Spaniels. And when we did it, America was coming out of the pandemic, and we were hurting from things that had happened prior to the pandemic. Of course, going through what we all went through. And at that time, and this is something I still believe today, is that we were entering an inflection point. An inflection point for us to hopefully pause, breathe, and reflect on who we wish to become as individuals, as communities, and as a country. As I pedaled across America, I wanted to share America's beauty with others, her natural beauty and the beauty of her people. And I also wanted to share where we were hurting. As America turns 250, I believe Kinstugi, which is something we use as a metaphor here at Whole Again, is a perfect metaphor for where we are as a country. There's so much beauty to celebrate, and we can also acknowledge that parts of us feel broken or are broken, but we can find a way to come back together, just like Kinstugi teaches us. And when we do, we don't try to erase or cover up where we have scars or blemishes. We highlight them in gold, and we celebrate them as symbols of our strength and resilience. Kinstugi is called the golden repair, and in essence, we can see beauty in something that's perfectly imperfect. During this series, I plan to speak to at least two people in each state and the District of Columbia. So 102 conversations with real folk, as I like to say. We're going to let the celebrities and the big influencers have their day somewhere else. But here, I want to reach out and talk to real people and listen to their reflections as they think about America turning 250 years old. And my hope is that you'll tune in to at least one, if not all 102. Because my theory going into this is that you'll hear different perspectives. Some may be aligned with yours. Others may not. But my hope is that you hear the goodness in your fellow citizens and realize, as Maya Angelou shared with us, we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. I've had the privilege of traveling all over the world and all over this country. And this belief is something that I hold deep inside of me. So yes, I do believe that we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. So if you're ready to meet one of your fellow neighbors who is an everyday American and is also perfectly imperfect like all of us, take a healthy breath in and a slow releasing breath out and get to know Rob O'Driscoll. Rob, my friend, how the heck
How are you,
you?
Michael? I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. So I hope the day is off to a good start for you.
It is. I hope the same for you.
Absolutely. The sun's out. There's no humidity. It's uh it's a good start of the day. So for those that don't know you, I
Hmm.
was hoping you could take a moment to introduce yourself and where are you calling in from?
Sure. Well, I'm Rob O'Driscoll, originally born and raised in Philadelphia, out in the birthplace of the nation.
Yes.
I've lived in New York, in and around New York City. I've lived in Virginia, Harrisonburg, Virginia. I lived in South Jersey, outside of Philadelphia, and now I live where I'm calling from. I live in Hermon, Maine, which is right outside of Bangor, Maine, which is about 2 hours north of Portland. So
Wow,
I'm a Maine guy.
way up there.
Yeah, we're upstate. We're up here.
Yeah, upstate, absolutely. So, for those that don't know the vacation state of Maine, and they might think of Maine and they think of lobsters, but
It's named Vacation Land.
yeah, vacation land. So, what's something cool about Maine that people may not know
So,
about
like you
if they've
said,
never
Maine is
been there?
kind of known for lobsters, but it does have a lot of scenic beauty. Some of the coastline is gorgeous. Acadia National Park's up here. It's
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Sugarloaf is a big ski resort up here. So if you're a skier, I am not, but if you are a skier, there's some great skiing up here. There's a lot of moose up here. I have never seen a moose, and I've never seen a bear.
Okay.
Even though we're kind of, I coach basketball at the University of Maine, and we're the Maine Black Bears.
Yes.
And then there are a lot of moose in here. Of my boss is from the state of Maine. He's seen many of them, as is his family. I've never seen one.
All right.
It's known for moose, and there's a lot of beautiful scenery around here. The coastline's beautiful. It's a very green state. It's like the nature, and
Yeah.
I think it's one of only 4 states that doesn't allow billboards.
Oh,
So
wow.
you're
Okay.
driving up and down 95, you're not seeing any billboards. It's beautiful.
That is a fun fact.
Mhm.
That's actually pretty cool.
I
It
think it's
makes
Maine, Vermont, Alaska, and Hawaii are the 4 states that don't
well,
allow billboards.
just soak in the natural beauty, right?
Yeah,
So,
of course.
well, what's something that people get wrong about Maine? Does anything come to
That it's
mind?
frigidly cold up here.
Okay.
Everybody thinks Maine it is cold in the wintertime, but there's a lot of other places in the country that get 30 or 40 below. And most winter days, the high is probably 20 or 25. It does get
Okay.
to 0, like, at 3 AM or 4 AM, right before the dawn, but it's not as frigidly cold as most people think.
Yeah, and if you do get cold, you can always stop into Freeport, Maine, and go to LL Bean and
Yeah,
bundle up,
bundle
get
up and
get some
yeah,
duck boots and some fleece, and you're gonna be set. So,
yeah,
all right. So, since you're a basketball coach, I need to ask you this because as we sit here right now, we're a day before the NBA finals. So, do you
mhm.
have a prediction? Is it Spurs or is it
I think
Knicks?
it's gonna be really hard to beat Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, but since we are talking about Maine, Cooper Flag is from the state of Maine.
Yes.
His twin brother Ace plays on our team.
Oh wow.
So,
All right.
that's another thing that Maine has is the flags.
The
So,
flags. All right.
yeah,
So I do like your prediction. Growing up, I was a George Gervin, the Iceman fan.
he played for the Spurs too.
So I will be putting energy towards the Knicks because I live in this area.
Yeah.
And orange is one of my favorite colors, and orange is one of their primary colors in their logo. But I'm right there with you. I think it's going to be hard.
Living in and around New York City during the '96 and '98 run when the Knicks were in the finals before, there's no place like Madison Square
There's
Garden, especially
no
when the Knicks
place
are
like
good.
Madison Square Garden. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's say you're having a picnic there in Maine this summer. Maybe there's some lobster and maybe there's some other Maine blueberries, who knows?
Mhm.
And you're with friends, you're with colleagues, neighbors, and they ask you, "Hey Rob, what does America mean to you?" How do you respond?
Well, it's home. I mean, it's the country that I was born in. It's the country I've lived in all my life. And when you say America, I'm very patriotic. I coach sports, so we just came off a USA hockey team winning the gold,
Yes.
both men and women. Um, and I think for me, I've been fortunate enough to be in 46 of the 50 states. I
Oh,
haven't been
nice.
to South Dakota, Oregon, New Mexico, and Wyoming. But other than that, I've been to every other state. And there's places of beauty in this country that are very different from other parts. I mean, I lived in New York City, and if you go to Wyoming or go to some of the open states out there, it's very, very different. And then I think there's so many places in this country that are beautiful to see, and everybody's kind of unique. Every place is unique to itself.
Yeah, I hear you. So I've been to 3 out of those 4 states you haven't been to yet. My wife is
Doesn't
from
surprise me.
Oregon. So in Oregon, during the summer, you have to bundle up and wear a sweatshirt to the coast, the
Mhm.
Pacific Ocean, because it's that cold, but the natural beauty is fabulous. I rode my bike through Wyoming and with that Yellowstone. So just gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I had a big like life altering thing happen in New Mexico, but
Heard.
my
I'm
life was
glad you're
saved
back.
there too. So it was a little bit of bittersweet, but New Mexico also has a ton of natural beauty. And I still got to make it to South Dakota. That's one state I
Yeah.
have not been to. So
Mount Rushmore, right? You got to go.
Mount Rushmore.
Maybe
My
you and
wife
I
has
can go
been
together because I've never been there either. So
absolutely,
maybe we can
yeah.
make a trip to
So
Mount Rushmore.
absolutely, that would be awesome. So a lot of people have a story, family story,
Mhm.
whether it's through ancestry, immigration, you name it, to this land, this country. Do you know much about how your family came to America?
So on my mom's side, she's both Russian and Ukrainian, and I
Okay.
know they're kind of at war now. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a little conflict there.
so my great grandmother growing up only spoke Russian to me until I was two
Oh,
years old. Now
wow.
she passed away when I was two, um, and then my grandfather on my mom's side passed away when he was in his mid 30s. So
Wow.
my grandmother basically ran a tailor shop in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, and raised two kids, and was a widow with. She was a widow in her 30s with a 13-year-old and a 2-year-old daughter, and she basically ran a tailor shop out of Phoenixville that put her kids through school and basically put a great life for everybody. And my mom uh, was very fortunate that she was able to take advantage of the American dream and make a life for her kids.
Wow. That's so cool. That's awesome. So, as someone with an O apostrophe,
Yeah, my dad's
what
Irish.
yeah, okay.
So
I was like, it's the Irish Russians or the Russian Irish
correct,
or
correct. I'm a mutt. My dad is Irish and German, and my mom's Russian and Ukrainian. So I'm
that's
a little
cool.
bit of mix of everything.
Alright, so do you keep the apostrophe? Because I dropped it a long time ago because computers always was giving me, like, grief, so there's
I
big
do keep
controversy in
the
my family
apostrophe,
because yeah, I
but every
dropped it.
time I log on to any website and have to put in your name, it doesn't allow it. Um, Half the time when I make a reservation at a hotel, they don't have me when I say
Yeah.
ODRIS, and then I'm say go the apostrophe. Oh, there you are. So some people recognize it, some people don't recognize it. I understand why you dropped it because it is a pain, but I'm keeping it and I've kept it this long, so might as well keep going.
That's good. Well, I would encourage you to keep it. A funny
Yeah.
story, my youngest just ran the Buffalo Marathon, and
Mhm.
so they had a whole, like, billboard, if you will. It's small. It wasn't a lot of not a huge marathon like New York City.
Mhm.
So she went to look for her name. She wanted to get that photo op. And so she went to all the O'Briens without the apostrophe. She didn't see
Mhm.
her name. She was like, or actually it was without, or either
Mhm.
way, but like she didn't see it. And we're like thinking, I think it has to do with the apostrophe. And sure enough, she went to the other side, either with or without the opposite. And she was like, oh, there we are. And so, yeah. So technology, right? So it gets us to a question current day, a lot of back and forth. It feels like every day there's some type of reference to AI. Is it going
Mhm.
to liberate us? Is it going to eat us and humanity? As just as a fellow citizen, as a basketball coach, how do you see AI?
Well, growing up in Philadelphia, when you say AI, the first thing that comes to mind is Congress.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we're talking
I
about
assume we're
practice.
talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah, we're talking
But
about
when everybody
artificial
says
intelligence.
AI to me, I always have to stop myself. Are we
Yeah.
talking about Allen Iverson here? No, we're talking about artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So AI is kinda to me, like many technological advances, I'm sure there's great opportunity and there's great things to come with it and from it. I also think, as in any social media or platform or technology, there's ways that we have to be careful to make sure it doesn't kind of overtake everything we do. And
Yes.
I'm fearful this generation that they're not going to understand how to write anymore or think because all you have to do is speak into Chat GPT and it does it for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think just like anything, like technology, it's obviously great. It's amazing that it's there. I'm fearful that it's going to be. I don't want to say misused, although it can be misused. But I'm fearful that it's going to be. You know, today's generation is not going to be able to think for themselves because AI is going to do all the thinking, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is kind of reality. So
Yeah, it takes away from just our human quality, right? And if we
right,
just
right.
decide to offload everything to AI, it's like, hey, what? Let's remember what makes us human, so we can connect
Hmm.
with one another. And so that leads me to my next question that I've been asking people. If there's obviously a lot of discussion around how divided the country feels or is. So there's, some cracks. I use kintsugi as a metaphor for my podcast, just that Japanese art form where it breaks, but it finds a way to come back together, and we highlight those breaks, as signs of our strength and resilience. If you had to work on fixing something, maybe not perfectly, but maybe a meaningful first step that could help us become more connected, to heal or even to grow the country, what would it be?
I think everybody needs to be not necessarily empathetic, but sympathetic to others' feelings, more
Yeah,
understanding and open. I think it's a very divided country right now. A lot of people are on polar opposites ends of the spectrum, and they feel very strongly. But it's okay to have friends that don't agree with you and have different
sure.
feelings. That's why they have vanilla chocolate and strawberry ice cream, right? Everybody eats
Absolutely.
something differently. But it takes me back to, and it's a shame that you have to have a great good come out of something so tragic. But I was living in and around New York City when September 11th happened.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I remember during that time, everybody was kind of one in New York City. And you would walk down the street where many times before that, and I'm sure many times now, everybody's focused in their own world. But you would look at everybody and ask them how they're doing and actually mean it. And, my life is always centered around sports. I'll remember I was at a bar down the street from Madison Square Garden shortly after September 11th when baseball came back. I know they had that 10-day or 2-week hiatus, but it was in late
Sure.
September. And during the seventh inning stretch, everybody, sings God Bless America.
Mhm.
And it was a packed bar. It was a Thursday night, and the entire bar sang the song in unison.
Yes.
And it still, when I think about it now, gives me chills down my spine because it was amazing to be a part of. It was amazing to take place in that. And obviously, we were under attack from, the world at that point. But I think everybody came together, and that's kind of my hope is that everybody can say, okay, like I don't necessarily have the same beliefs as you, but I understand why you feel that way, or at least respect that that's how you feel that way, and that's okay.
Yeah, I hear you. I was in the hospital during 9/11, and so I had a lot of time to watch a lot of the news coverage, obviously just the horror of it, but also the coming together. And, a lot of times it does take tragedy to bring us together, although it shouldn't. We shouldn't
It
have to,
shouldn't.
like, go to
It shouldn't.
that
Yeah.
depth to find a way to get connected and see each other. Back then in 2001, there were no smartphones. I think maybe there was a BlackBerry, but now
Correct.
if you
Yeah.
walk the streets in New York, you have to be careful that someone doesn't walk into you because they got their head down in their phones, and that's
Yeah. That is
that's
true.
one of the things that keeps us divided. But I like what you have to say as far as being empathetic and sympathetic.
Mm.
We all have different lived experiences. We're all coming from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and we'll see things differently, but that doesn't mean we have to be each other's enemy. Right. And so, sometimes it feels like that's our current reality. So you mentioned vanilla chocolate and strawberry ice cream. So it's a birthday coming up, America's 250th. Generally speaking, people have cake.
Mhm.
So what kind of cake are you serving for America's 250th?
Ice cream cake,
Ice
vanilla and
cream
chocolate
cake.
with the sprinkle in the with the crunchies in the middle.
Okay, a little is it like a Carvel ice cream cake?
Carvel ice cream cake is my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, buddy. Yeah,
If you
that's
have
what
to
we're
go
talking.
if you have to go traditional sheet cake, I'm kinda plain. I like a vanilla sheet cake with vanilla icing, but
Alright,
I'm
that's
kinda
cool.
like my daughter, I'll eat the icing and not the cake.
Yeah,
So
well, hey, buttercream frosting is pretty good. Like,
correct, correct.
you can, smear that on some graham crackers, and you got a meal, right?
Yep.
That's pretty good stuff. Alright, so as you're blowing out 250 candles, and if it's an
Mhm.
ice cream cake, we gotta blow these candles out
Yeah,
quickly.
quick. Yeah.
What's the wish?
The wish is that kinda what I said about, what if we could repair everything, that everybody is more sympathetic to everybody's feelings, and we can kind of not get back to the point where it takes a tragedy to unite us, but
Yeah.
get back on the same, not necessarily the same wavelength, the same page as everybody else, but the ability to coexist with everybody and be okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Awesome. So I've been asking the person I've chatted with before you, see if they
Mhm.
have a question for you. So Becky from Iowa, home of the University of Iowa.
Yes.
So
And Iowa State.
in Iowa State, but we've talked about basketball during
Yep,
our chat. So she gave props to Caitlin Clark.
yep,
Obviously a
yep.
big famous citizen there in her hometown. So she wants to know what's a smell that takes you back to a positive childhood experience.
So, when I was growing up, I had an aunt that always made these pineapple tarts,
Ooh, I
and they
like
were
the sound of
phenomenal.
this.
I would love going over Aunt Catherine's house just to eat her pineapple tarts. So
Or
if you get to a bakery and you smell the pineapple and a tart in it, it takes me back to my Aunt Catherine's pineapple tarts.
I love it.
It was
That's so
delicious.
cool. I like it. That's a great memory. It's a great memory. So, what question do you have for the next person I chat with?
So I would say, America's a great country. I've been fortunate enough to be in to visit a lot of the places. I think there's only like 3 or 4 major cities I haven't been to, but in America, if you could visit one spot where you haven't been before, where would you wanna go and why?
All right. Well, I will ask the next person I talk to in our series that very question. So, Rob, thanks for joining me. It's
Michael,
awesome
thanks so
to
much.
connect, and thanks for putting a good ripple into the world and helping us become a more perfect union.
Happy to do it. Thanks.
Peace. I'm not sure about you right now, but I'm a little hungry for one of Aunt Catherine's pineapple tarts. They sound really good. I'm so thankful to sit down with Rob. I loved what he had to share. I love his connection to my university, James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And I met Rob through one of our previous guests here on our Perfectly Imperfect series, Shane McKee. And as you heard, Rob threw out a pretty bold prediction about the NBA Finals. So we'll see how that all turns out. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. I hope you'll check out more of our series as we march towards Election Day and America celebrating its 250th birthday. Until then, let's remember to celebrate our scars as golden symbols of our strength and resilience. And don't forget to have fun. Storm in the castle. And if you wish to learn more about creating beautiful ripples and how to prevent a bad moment from turning into a bad day, please visit my website, michaelobrienshift.com, and sign up for my newsletter called The Ripple Effect. And join us each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here at Whole Again and discover how you can heal, grow, and become more resilient. and celebrate our scars as golden symbols of strength and resilience. Until then, remember, you can always come back to your breath. You've got this, and we've got you.